love to make easel cards like these. They are a card base where the front is scored and folded in half, and an image or some such thing is adhered to the bottom half so it can be propped open for the recipient to display. I always wonder if the recipient knows that is what they are supposed to do, though. I took one of the design elements of the slider easel card and created an easel card that takes away the guesswork of what you should do with it. It's easy to pop up and difficult to fold up and put away, which is always a plus when we work so hard to make our cards. To create this card, you'll need the following pieces of cardstock. 1 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches, 2 2 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches, and an A2 horizontal card base. To build our card base, we score, fold, and crease it at 2 1/8 inches and 4 1/4 inches. I then use my scoreboard to determine where the middle of the center crease is. In this instance, it's at 2 3/4 inches. And I put a small score line there. This will be punched away. I then line up my 3/4 inch circle punch and remove a half circle from the middle of the crease. If you don't have a circle punch, you could use a die, or you could even draw it and cut it out with scissors. We then take the 3/4 inch strip and put it through the half circle we created, leaving about a 1/2 inch overhang at the bottom of the card. We then take some score tape and place it at the bottom center of the card front and fold the strip up and adhere it to the tape. The fold is then creased with our bone folder and our card base is done. My card design today is inspired by my recent travels to Italy, in particular the island of Burano, which is just off the Italian coast close to Venice. It is one of my favorite places to visit and oh so beautiful, as you can see in these pictures. So many houses, so many pretty colors. I took these pictures knowing they would give me fun ideas for cards. This little island is famous for beautiful lace, which is hand-woven by the ladies of the island. I have some lace to add to cards in the future, but for now we're going to focus on the beautiful colors of the homes of Burano using this Altenew stamp set neighborhood. I stamped it at the bottom of one of the 2 3/4 inches by 5.5 inch panels in VersaFine Onyx black ink. I then took the acetate from the stamp set and stamped the image on it with the same ink. To create a mirror image, I lined the acetate up with the edge of the paper using my already stamped piece as a guide. When I was comfortable with the placement, I carefully put the acetate down and pressed, making sure not to move the image at all. I then carefully lifted the acetate and my mirror image was stamped. I am fairly new to working with colored pencils, so I did nothing fancy to color these houses. I felt that the pencils lent themselves to a more rustic look that worked great for an island full of homes that have been around for hundreds of years. Using my pictures for inspiration, I selected a rainbow of colors. I think there were about a dozen when I was done. A complete list is available on the blog post that goes with this video. I colored the non-mirrored images with the solid color and smoothed it out a bit with Gamsol and a blending stump. I then colored the mirrored images with a very light hand and not perfectly, as they would be underwater and they would look lighter and not as consistent. To color the sky, I used a single COPIC marker, BG000. I was careful around the houses as I used a VersaFine ink, which isn't COPIC friendly. This is typically not a problem in this kind of situation though. You just have to be careful around the ink. After I was done with that part, I used long strokes to color in the sky. As you can see, I varied it every now and again. The result is a look that almost seems like there are thin, wispy clouds in the sky. I repeated this process on my mirrored image, again using a light hand and not filling in 100%, with the hope that the imperfections suggest water to the recipient and anyone who looks at it. I have a mantra that I repeat in my head when I'm not feeling very confident about my coloring. I tell myself that it just needs to be the suggestion of a flower or butterfly or grass, whatever it might be. I find this to be a very effective technique. Now we have everything we need to assemble our card. I will be using this pattern paper from Fawn for my top border and as an accent inside the card. I really love the pop of color it provides and the fact that it matches up perfectly with the house colors. We'll start by applying tape runner to the back of the welcome panel. I only want to go up as far as the halfway mark of the front of the card so that it will pop up when the lever is pulled, just like any other easel card. Then we need to attach our pattern paper to the top. We first line it up with the card base and mark where the punch out is so that we can punch that paper as well. Then we put tape runner on the back. This time we don't put any adhesive where the welcome piece and the rainbow panel will overlap. It is important these two panels never stick together. Now it's time to pop up our card and finish the inside. The mirrored panel started off as 2 3/4 inches wide. While making the card, it became apparent that was too big for inside the card, so I trimmed it down to 2 inches. With the card popped open, I put tape runner on the back of the mirrored piece and adhered it inside the card. I then attached the rainbow piece to the card edge for that pop of color, and I stamped the sentiment to the neighborhood on a scrap piece of white cardstock in VersaFine Onyx black ink, trimmed it around the edges, and centered it on the rainbow strip. Last, but definitely not least, I stamped the Pull Here stamp from the Push Here stamp set from Fawn and its coordinating circle on some scrap paper with Altenew maple yellow ink, and used my 3/4 inch punch to cut it out. I trimmed down the lever and then glued the Pull Here into the groove of the card. I backed that up with a plain circle for a nice finished look. I'm really happy with how this lever works on this card. It has solved the problem of wondering if people will understand how the card works, I hope. There is also the added benefit that the card is much more difficult to fold up and put away. I had so much fun sharing this card and the beautiful place that inspired it with you today. Let me know in the comments what favorite vacation places would inspire you to create. Maybe it'll be where I go on my next crafty adventure. Until next time, happy crafting, everyone. For more information, please visit my blog at www.perkypennypapers.com and follow my Instagram at perkypennypapers. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and subscribe to my channel to see when new videos are uploaded. A list of supplies is available in the description of this video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today.